on the status of those negotiations is the White House Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, is with us. Steve, thank you for being back with us. We appreciate it. I don't think you've had any sleep in a month. I know you've been doing a lot of diplomacy in the Middle East and in Russia. You kind of set the stage for what happened today. Before I ask about today, you spent time with Vladimir Putin. Did you feel then that you had the opening for a breakthrough?
Hi, Sean. How do you do? First of all, thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. You know, I had two meetings with President Putin. The first one was for somewhere close to 3.5 hours, and the second one was close to 4 hours. They were both compelling. I thought we accomplished quite a bit, and in the second meeting, we actually really narrowed the issues, certainly from the Russian standpoint. We were immediately in discussions on tangible, granular ways to move forward towards a ceasefire. That included what you've heard about today, which is the ceasefire with regard to energy infrastructure from both sides, something they've been trying to put together for quite some time. Of course, it's President Trump and his persona that delivers these sorts of results. And secondly, the what people colloquially refer to as the Black Sea maritime aspect of a ceasefire. I think both of those are now agreed to by the Russians. I am certainly hopeful that the Ukrainians will agree to it. We have some details to work out, of course, but that will begin on Sunday in Jeddah. And beyond that, we'll move to a full ceasefire. And we had some very good conversation today on the ingredients to achieve that. So all in all, really positive results.
From the readout that I saw, Steve, I saw that the president put on the table a proposal for the mutual refusal of the parties to conflict and strike energy infrastructure and facilities. Is it energy only, or is it energy and infrastructure that would be part of a 30-day ceasefire?
No, it's energy and infrastructure in general, and this is something, Sean, that they've been in discussions about for probably the better part of 2 years. And so I think there have been some breakthroughs. I would commend President Putin for all he did today on that call to move his country close to a final peace deal. And I would say, and I would give all the credit to President Trump, his election, peace through strength, the perception that there are no alternatives, that a good peace, a lasting peace, a durable peace is important for both sides. And the president was, I can't understate, or I can't overstate how compelling he was on this call. He's a natural-born leader, Sean, and he demonstrated that today.
I've seen him in action. I know him pretty well, Steve, like you. I've known him 30 years, and there's no other human being like him. I will say that. Let's talk about some of the other issues that were discussed today. One thing the Russians were worried about is during this 30-day period, the possible rearming of forces in Ukraine. Does that mean that they themselves will not rearm also? Will there be reciprocity there?
Well, I think the devil's in the details. We've got a team going to Saudi Arabia, led by our national security advisor and our Secretary of State. And I think, we've got to figure out those details. The point is that up until recently, we really didn't have consensus around these two aspects, the energy and infrastructure ceasefire and the Black Sea moratorium on firing. And today we got to that place. And I think it's a relatively short distance to a full ceasefire from there. And again, I stress that it was the president's former relationship with President Putin, the president stressing that they needed to engage in mutual trust together to bring this war to an end. President Putin, and I would commend him for this, said that he agreed with the president's posture on it all. He agreed with the approach. He didn't want to see more people dying in the field. So it was these two great leaders coming together for the betterment of mankind. And it was honestly a privilege and an honor for me to sit there and listen to that conversation.
And the last thing is they have both agreed to exchange prisoners and 23 seriously wounded Ukrainian servicemen. And then the president, apparently President Putin, talked about organizing hockey matches between the U.S. and Russia, the NHL versus the KHL. So that sounds like a relationship that's moving in a positive direction. I'll give you the last word.
I would say absolutely, Sean. And I think it's going to lead to long-term peace and prosperity in the region. Two leaders working on other things together for the betterment of the world. And I couldn't be more thrilled to have been a part of this in some small way.
Well, Steve, you've been a big part of it. You've been, literally flying all around the globe, both helping in the Middle East and in this conflict as well. And you deserve a lot of credit also. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate you being with us.